This interactive video is about defining ANSYS contacts for 3D models in HyperMesh. Since we are going to be using the ANSYS user profile, we need to load it before we can begin. To do this, start by clicking on the user profile icon. Choose the ANSYS option. Now that we have loaded the ANSYS user profile, we can load a model to work on. Start by clicking on the File option from the menu toolbar. Here we choose the file named ANSYS Contact Manager 3D Tutorial.hm. Now that the desired file is selected, click the Open button to open it. We would like to get a better view of the model, so we rotate it to so. Click the Zoom to Fit icon to view the whole model. Now that we have a good view of the model, we would like to create a 3D contact for it. Start by clicking on the Tools option from the menu toolbar. Select the Contact Manager option. The Contact Manager window is now open. To create a new contact, click the New button. The Create New Contact Pair window is now open. In the Creation Method field, make sure the Flexible option is selected. In the Contact Type field, make sure the 3D option is selected. In the Create From field, make sure that the Surface to Surface option is selected. In our case, all of these are selected except the 3D option. Select the 3D option so the correct option is selected. Now that all the criteria is correct, click on the Pick Target button. Now we want to select the target component. Click the Components button to do so. Choose the Cylinder Solid 45 option to be the target component. Now that we have the desired target component selected, click the Proceed option to go to the next step. Note how the target component that was just selected is shown in the graphics area. Click the Elements button to make it active. Now that the Elements button is active, click it again to select the desired elements from the target component. To make selecting the desired elements easier, we switch to the XY top plane view. Click on the highlighted icon to do so. We want to select the bottom 4 elements. To do so, make a selection window in the graphics area by holding the Shift key and dragging the mouse button. Here this is done for you. Now that the desired elements have been selected, click the Proceed button to go to the next step. The Target Component Details window is now open. The name and ID of the target component and element type can be edited by changing the values in these fields. The color can be changed by clicking on the color box and then selecting a different color. The Apply Keyopts box is checked here. Having this box checked assigns the keyopt values listed below to the component. The keyopt values can be changed by clicking on the drop-down arrows and selecting a different value. Also, the values can be reset to their default values by clicking on the Reset Defaults button. Now that this window has been explained, click on the Next button to proceed to the next. We are done with the target component. Now we need to select a contact component. We need to make the Components button active first to do so. Now that the Components button is active, click it again to select a contact component. Choose the Box Solid 95 option to be the contact component. Now that we have the desired contact component selected, click the Proceed option to go to the next. Note how the contact component that was just selected is shown in the graphics area. Click the Elements button to make it active. Now that the Elements button is active, click it again to select the desired elements from the contact component. We rotate the model to make clicking the desired elements easier. Here this is done for you. Click the Zoom to Fit icon to view the whole model. Now that we can see the whole model, we would like to select all of the elements on the top of the cube. For now, we select one of the elements on the top of the cube. Instead of clicking each of the elements on the top of the cube individually, we will use the extended selection menu. Here we choose the by face option. The by face selection option selects all the elements on the same face, or side, of the cube that the previously selected element is on. In our case, an element on the top face was already selected, so all of the elements on that face were selected. Now click on Proceed to go to the next step. The Contact Component Details window is now open. All of the fields and buttons in this window have the same functionalities as the fields and buttons in the Target Component Details window that was explained earlier in the video. So, instead of explaining it again, we click the Next button to go to the next. In the Contact Property window, a property can be assigned to a component. In the Define Property field, there are 3 options. Selecting the new option will create a new property. Selecting the Use Same As option will use an already existing property that you choose from the drop-down menu. Or selecting the None option will assign no property to the components. The property name and ID can be changed by modifying the property name and ID fields. The constants of the property can be changed by clicking on the value field of the constant and entering a new value. Clicking the Reset Defaults button will reset any of the changed constants back to their original values. Now that the Contact Property window has been explained, we go to the next step by clicking the Next button. The Contact Material window is now open. In this window, a material can be assigned to the components. In the Define Material area, a new material, an existing material, or no material is chosen to be assigned to the components. The material name and ID can also be changed via these fields. Now that the window has been explained, click the Next button to proceed to the next step. The Contact and Target Normal window is now open. This window controls the normals of the contact and target elements. The normals for the target and contact elements can be toggled on and off by checking or unchecking the boxes in the Display Component area. The size of the normals can be modified by changing the value in the Size field and then clicking the icon next to the Size field to apply the size change to the model. The normals can also be reversed by clicking on the Reverse Normal icon. Now that the window has been explained, click on the OK button to go to the next step. The contact is now completed and a summary of the newly created 3D contact is listed in the Contact Manager. Now you have a few options of what to do next. You can create another contact by clicking the New button. You can edit an existing contact by clicking on the field you would like to edit and then clicking on the Edit button. Or you can do as we will do and close the Contact Manager. Click the Close button to close the Contact Manager. This concludes our video on defining contacts for 3D models in HyperMesh. If you would like to practice more with defining contacts for a 3D model, you can create another contact pair, but this time with the blue cube instead of the pink cube.